Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 59 of the Michael Pina Sr. Show. I'm your host, Michael Pina Sr., and it's June 18th, 2018. Hey, this is a good one. This is from the book Kids and Money Habits. Teach your kids about taxes. Eat 30% of their ice cream. And I kind of like that, but we're going to talk about teaching our kids about money today. And, I bring this up because yesterday was my son, Michael Jr.'s birthday. He turned 21 yesterday. And, of course, I've got my daughter, Shannon, and she's 25. And I've got my granddaughter now, baby Shay, who's only 3 months old. So it made me think about what have I really been able to teach my own kids about money? And what can I teach my grandchild about money? And I know that I can do a better job teaching my grandchild about money than I actually taught my own kids. Because for me, and I want you to take a look at what your education is with money. At the time my kids 25 years ago, 20 years ago, was small, I was still learning about money. I was still making a ton of mistakes with money. And, when you make mistakes and when you do things wrong with money, your kids are learning from everything that you're doing, whether you think you're teaching them or not. And that's why I want to bring that up because, I want to be able to teach baby Shay better about money than I taught my own kids. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that as a grandparent. But I want you to learn from my mistakes. And I want you to learn from your own mistakes. Because, you want to start involving your kids with money right away. I mean, there's a generation out there that, grew up in the greatest generation where they never talked about money. There were certain things they just didn't teach or talk about. And it made it difficult for us going forward. But now, we need to communicate. We need to be able to teach our kids about money. And everything that you do with money is a teachable moment for your kid. Okay, so if you're setting a budget, it's okay to include your kids on how you're setting your budget and what you're doing and what you're spending your money on. I mean, show them that budget. Show them that we don't do debt. Because if they see that you are using credit cards, guess what you're teaching them? That it's okay to use credit cards. But we don't want to teach them that. We want to teach them the way that we get out of debt and how we stay out of debt. And listen, I'm not saying that you're going to take, a 1-year-old and start teaching them about credit card debt and stuff like that. But, as the kids get older, you can get more in depth with their money and get more in depth with what you're teaching them. And I'm going to teach the 4 basic things that we should be doing and we should know ourselves about money and what we should be teaching our children about money. Okay, so here goes the number one thing. The number one thing we want to teach our kids about money is that we need to work. In order to make money or have money, guess what? You got to work. Don't just give them an allowance. An allowance equals welfare. And I don't want people to be on welfare. I don't want your kids to be on welfare. So what you do is, what you need to do is set up a chore chart. And we actually did this when our kids were younger. We put it on the refrigerator. If you do this job, you make this amount of money. And that's a good thing for kids to do when they're younger, and it's enforcing a habit that in order to get money, you need to work. All right? So that's the most basic thing. And we all should know that. You want more money? Work harder. All right? So, and teach the kids that too. That the reason why mom and dad aren't home right now, we need to work. We need to be able to do things. And in order to do things, we got to work. Okay. Number 2 is giving. And that's a thing that I need to be better at. I mean, I'm at UPS. I tell you that all the time. And UPS's big charity is United Way. So I do give to the United Way. And, I feel good about that. And if you belong to a church, you belong to organizations, it's good to give money. And when I can give back, I do try to give back. But maybe I need to teach that better. And that's something that you need to teach your kids, is being generous with money. It's a good thing to be generous with money. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3 is savings. And these are like teaching your kids about long-term goals. And it's okay for like a 10-year-old to want to get a car. Because think about that 10-year-old that's saving money and putting a little money away, and you're teaching them about saving, that long-term goal of getting a car. You're teaching them the cost of what a car would cost, how much it would be to maintain that car. And you're reinforcing that along the way as they get older. And the more money they put away, the better the car they can buy. Cash, and help them with savings with money. So set up something where for every dollar they put away, try to match them every dollar. Or if that's too much, because sometimes some of these kids, they'll stop putting away $150 a week. And, maybe we can't afford to match them that. But you got to be able to match them something. And you're teaching them about a 401k. And show them your 401k. Show them and teach them the match that you get on that 401k. They may not understand it right away, but you're showing them and teaching them that it's important to save. And if they have a 529 plan, you got one set up for them, show them and teach them that this is your college education savings. And if you want to put more towards that, you can save. And they may want to put more towards their own college education savings. Let them. That's part of their savings. Okay? So that's number 3 is savings. Number 4 is spending. Again, if you showed them your budget, and I tell you this all the time, a budget doesn't tell you that you can't spend money. A budget gives you permission to spend. So if you're teaching them a budget, you're showing them that, because I have a budget, we get to have pizza on Friday night. It's okay to spend and have that pizza on Friday night. I mean, the last couple of weeks right now, our budget didn't allow us to have pizza, and I miss it. But you know what? Our budget just didn't allow it. But if your budget does allow it and your budget shows them that you can spend, it's okay to spend. That's our short-term goals. Let them spend some money on some video games. Let them spend some money on some new sneakers and new clothes, stuff that they want. Because they're already doing these other things. They're working, they're giving, they're saving. Now it's okay to spend. All right? So these are things that we want to teach them and habits that we want to create. And again, if you go to podbean.com, I have some great things on there, going on there. And I'm trying to teach about habits on Podbean. Go to podbean.com. And if you follow me on Twitter, I try to put the link from Podbean on there. So follow the Michael Pina Sr. Show there. I'm teaching about habits. And these are what we want to teach our children. We want to teach them good money habits. So as they get older, it just becomes natural, that debt-free. Even if you're in debt and you're teaching your kids, you're going to change your family tree by teaching your kids to stay out of debt. And that's what we want to do. We want to be able to show them and teach them the right way and learn from our own mistakes. And I know that I've made a ton of mistakes. I tell you that all the time. And that's what I'm trying to teach, the things that I don't want you to do. All right? But this is something you do want to do. Teach your kids right. Teach them about money. All right? So I hope that helped. If you want to ask me a question, go to CoachP2210@yahoo.com. Comment, tell me something that I've done wrong. It's okay. All right? Because I'm always learning. I need to learn. I need to continuously learn. We need to continuously get educated. And I hope that this helps you. And just subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're watching this, because that'll help me. All right? So listen, I'm living my passion one day at a time. I want to win. I want to help you win. Let's win together.